KC Singh, welcome. Leela Ponnappa, former Deputy National Security Advisor, welcome. Mr. A.K. Verma, former Raw Chief, thank you very much for coming in. Maruf, thank you for coming back. People have responded strongly to the plain talk by you this morning. Mr. M.K. Bhadrakumar is joining us as well, former top diplomat, former Deputy High Commissioner to Pakistan. He's joining us from Thiruvananthapuram. What happens now to the Pakistan angle? It has almost appeared, Mr. KC Singh, over the last year and a half, that it's anathema to even discuss Pakistan, mention Pakistan, hands off Pakistan, don't talk about any link to Pakistan, not one statement from the Foreign Ministry on Pakistan. Now with this Huji angle emerging, either you reject the angle, you rubbish the angle, you stymie the angle, or you take the issue head on. What do you think the government should do?
Arnab, they're talking of intelligence.
Yes.
They say 9/11 in America was not a failure of intelligence.
Yes.
It was a failure of imagination.
Yeah.
Because you thought that could never happen.
Yeah.
PM is in Bangladesh.
Yes.
You would imagine that Huji, Bangladesh, on the eve of 9/11, would do something to send a signal that the Prime Minister there, who's been acting against terrorists, is ineffectual and we can act in India when the PM is there.
Yeah.
Now, it should have been expected that something like this will happen.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's Huji, Bangladesh, or it's Indian Mujahideen, or it's Huji, Pakistan, today they are seamless.
Exactly.
Or it's Babur Khalsa.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. These
Exactly.
are all, the font is the same. And Pakistan being under pressure, they will bring into play any of the newer groups. You should anticipate it, and you should have been ready for it.
But we try to pretend, don't we? And I'm going to Leela on this next. We try to always pretend, Ms. Ponnappa, that, you know, the Pakistan hand doesn't really exist. No, the story is given out that, you know, it's all homegrown. Almost as if we don't know that the Indian Mujahideen is a creation of the Karachi project.
Yeah.
It's a creation of the Karachi project. It's got the ISI stamp all over it. Yet we have not once in the last year and a half taken Pakistan head on.
Sorry, Arnab, see
Yes.
the book of Shehzad, the journalist who's been killed in Pakistan. The
You're
book
right.
is available here now.
You're right.
It shows you, he quotes Ilyas Kashmiri,
Yes.
saying that what has happened in India is nothing. I've got something bigger planned, etc. So it's all seamless now.
No, all the incidents all the incidents that we have pathetically not been able to solve, all have the Indian Mujahideen stamp over it, and therefore the Karachi project stamp over it. Leela, sorry.
No, I think you're absolutely right in that the Pakistan element is very much there.
Yeah.
It has not gone away. In fact, there is a very strange dichotomy in terms of how GOI has approached it. I think over the years, and it isn't just after 9/11, but even before that, there has been a relentless effort, and I must say successful, in that today the world recognizes Pakistan as the source of terror.
Yeah.
But strangely enough, in terms of India's policy towards Pakistan, while on the one hand we are very clear that it is the source of terrorism, not just for India, frankly, but worldwide.
But worldwide.
On the other hand, we go in for gestures like invitations to cricket matches. So there's a very clear dichotomy. And while in the earlier discussion I heard one of your panelists talk about last mile problems, here I would really say it has to do with first mile problems. Lack of clarity in terms of political will, political intent and strategy.
And also linked to the talks. I mean, the talks also have to be given a certain direction, because we haven't received a single word assurance from Pakistan as far as terror is concerned since the foreign ministerial level talks in July 2000.
Arnab, I have said it on your
Yeah.
channel before, and I will say it again.
Yes.
We run the risk of indicating that we have forgotten the dead of Mumbai.
Yeah, that's,
And that is something that cannot be swallowed up in legal trivialization, and this is something that we must not forget.
so are we letting foreign policy decide domestic policy?
No, I think the two are linked. And
But in this case they are not. I mean, it's an open fact that the MEA has one line as far as Pakistan and their involvement is concerned, and the Home Ministry has another line.
I'm sorry, I don't buy that at all. Within the government, there are different views. Ultimately, what emerges is a comprehensive government view. I think we have to look at it in the sense that both external and internal policies are intrinsically linked. And if you have a last mile problem with regard to internal, there is a similar problem with regard to the external aspect as well.
I mean, it's only so interesting that till about 1.5 to 2 years back, every blast which happened, you know, immediately there would be a link drawn up to you know, the mother factories in Pakistan, and now there's like in hush-hush tones, you don't talk about it. You mentioned the Indian Mujahideen one day, and then you almost pretend like you've forgotten this whole matter. I'm going to Jaydev Ranade next. Jaydev Ranade next on this. Mr. Ranade, are we trying to play down the Pakistan factor deliberately, and is that going to work in our favor?
Well, I don't know yet as to who's responsible. I don't think there are any clues. They're working on it, and they're tracking the emails. I think that will give a good clue, as well as other things. But I don't think we can just narrow it down to Pakistan. The arc is spread, the arc from which we face terror threats, to include Bangladesh and Nepal, because the ISI does have links in all these places.
Sure, I take your point.
I have a point. I have a point on Bangladesh.
But the ISI is Pakistan.
ISI is Pakistan.
The Huji is backed, financed, run by Pakistan. The Indian Mujahideen is a creation of the Karachi project. I want to just get in Maruf on this. Maruf, you know, this whole IM angle. How do you read it?
Well, you know, the interesting thing is, until David Headley's confessions,
yes,
India's intelligence agencies didn't even seriously look at the Indian Mujahideen factor, because they were not really putting that in that radar screen and they're reckoning. The Indian Mujahideen actually was operating in India for almost 7 to 8 years without even being targeted by intelligence agencies, though it was created in 2002 and 2003 after the Karachi project. The second point to note is, we don't have a terror law in the country. No. We don't have a system by which the policing can be strengthened at the street level. We are just relying on CCTVs. Even CCTVs, Zaveri Bazaar proved to us that in crowded areas they don't work. So is that a deterrent enough? We have detectors, we have scanners which don't work in any of the buildings.
Point taken.
And most importantly, the fact is that we are not addressing the entire problem in its entirety in two fronts. One is how to deal with it externally, the Pakistan and the international...
Let's talk about externally. The micro angle I completely take with you. We've discussed it ad nauseum a while back, and we broke it down, and we said this is the limit of incompetence which cannot be tolerated. It doesn't matter whether the CCTV was not there at gate number 5 or 4. On the external dimension.
I think, amongst your regular panelists, I have a notorious reputation for hammering at Pakistan, particularly since 26/11, and I have said again and again, and I have been really opposed to the stand that the Prime Minister in particular has taken, to my understanding, on the advice of a lot of other ministers who felt that we should be stronger on Pakistan, but it was one man's agenda for a shared destiny.
Playing devil's advocate with you, before I go to Mr. Bhadrakumar, I'm coming straight to you. To play devil's advocate, the argument is, where's the evidence?
Oh, the evidence, reams and reams of evidence.
It is Indian Mujahideen.
Sorry, there are reams and reams of evidence.
Domestics.
You talk of Indian Mujahideen, look at Shishir Gupta's book on Indian Mujahideen. He'll even give you their email IDs and their contact phone numbers. He has diligently recorded it over a period of 10 years and produced this wonderful volume, which is essential reading for intelligence agency. I would be sorry to see that most of our intelligence officers haven't even seen that this book is on the bookshelves in most of the bookstores.
And it draws the Pakistan link.
Oh, absolutely. That is the linkage, and that is the proxy that the Karachi project intended to create. Okay. Now, the pointed issue is, Pakistan apart, we are not doing enough to hound the Indian Mujahideen at home. We are not keeping them on the run. A guy on the run can't plan. A guy who's being left alone plans. We are not securing the potential targets. We are only concerned about VIP security. And the worst factor which really puts me off is that the citizens don't matter. It's those damn politicians who are all the time guarding their interests, whether it is against Anna Hazare or the security of the country. Everything is up for a price, Arnab, I'm sorry to say.
Mr. Bhadrakumar, do we have any strategy to deal with the Karachi project? I'm focusing on this. Somebody else's proxy war is not necessarily a domestic creation. Isn't it obvious to you as well that the Indian Mujahideen is a creation of the Karachi project? I'm raising this today because the Huji angle has come out. The IM angle has come out in so many blasts in the past. Yet we have never questioned the ISI involvement there. Your take, Mr. Bhadrakumar.
Yeah, you know, we are here on a theoretical plane, in the sense that I'm completely in agreement with you as a matter of principle, that if this is established, that this is related to Pakistan, the Pakistani state agencies, Bangladeshi state agencies and so on, then, you know, we can proceed on these lines. But I think the discussion which I heard up to now has brought out a number of other factors. Number one, there is still no clarity. And I think it's terribly important that we must have clarity. You know, I recently just finished reading the former Canadian High Commissioner in Delhi, David Malone's book, Can Elephant Dance? One of the things that I think more than once in the book, you know, he says there that why the Americans, you know, were reticent about, you know, handing over more than what they did concerning Hetli to India is that, you know, the Indian credibility is very low on these matters. Now, last week, if you look at it, President Medvedev from Russia, Tajik president, Afghan president, Pakistani president, they sit together and they're talking about regional security and about a collective action against terrorism. Day before yesterday, they have formed a drug control center in Kabul. Now, what does it mean?
1 minute, sir. All the incidents which have taken place have an Indian Mujahideen mark on it. You know, sir, the Indian Mujahideen is a creation of the Karachi project. Would you not expect your government to expose that link, to question that link?
Yes, of course.
And then take Pakistan head on? Or are we scared of taking Pakistan on a collision course as far as terror is concerned to defend our domestic interests?
No one is quarreling with that point at all. You know, I mean, I'm completely in agreement with you. I said in the beginning that if it is indeed established, you know, that there is a Pakistani role or a Bangladeshi or Nepali role, then we certainly take it up, you know, at the diplomatic plane, at the political plane with these countries. But it's far too premature, as someone said a little earlier.
So
there is no evidence of this government having taken up anything seriously with Pakistan.
You see, on an exchange like this with Pakistan, as far as my experience with Pakistan goes, I don't think the government is going to present it to the public. But I would like to believe when the government at responsible level, authoritative level, they keep on saying that they have forcefully reinforced this point at any conceivable level with Pakistan, official, political, so on, within the framework of the dialogue. I would like to believe it. I have no reason to disbelieve what the government is saying, that they're taking it up strongly.
There is no evidence. There is no firm evidence which is emerging. Mr. Verma, sorry to keep you waiting, sir. Here, this morning you said at the root of all of this is political will. What were you alluding to? A, and B, I'd like your comment on the whole Indian Mujahideen angle, the Huji angle, which has emerged since this afternoon.
There is lack of political will because I think the problem has not been fully understood. It is not something confined only to terrorism. It goes beyond that. It transcends terrorism. It goes into the need for a jihad in this country and elsewhere. How does one say that? If you see the original charter of the Islamic International Front, which had been set up in 1998 by Bin Laden, and Huji was one of the constituents of that front.
Exactly.
And from that day itself, in 1998, Bin Laden had said that now we have to think in terms of an international jihad, which will get Islamic Caliphate from Spain to Indonesia. Now, this is what is happening. We are confusing the issue by looking at it in a very narrow angle of terrorism only. Actually, it is a much bigger effort. And this is where the external and the internal policies should get linked up. Because what they are trying, what Huji is trying, and what others of that description, financed by ISI, are trying is to get hold of the Indian cultural space. And this is a very dangerous situation.
But are they camouflaging their activity? I'd just like to play once again. It's very interesting. I'd like to play for our viewers once again. This is a tape. This is a tape of a Huji operative, which we accessed. And this is important because it's a narco analysis tape. This was a narco analysis that happened after the Bengaluru blast. On a day when terror has hit the national capital all over again. We're going to play for you. This is a clip of a narco analysis that was done on a Huji operative. We aired it first on Times Now in May 2008. Narco test of Huji operative by the name of Muhaddil Motakkil, who described the terror group's modus operandi, how it was going about spreading terror in India.
था उधर बांग्लादेश में?
हुजी, हरकतुल जिहाद अल इस्लामी।
वो एक्टिविटी बेंगलुरु में था?
नहीं, ये मुझे पता नहीं, लेकिन मेरे जानकारी से इतना है वो सिर्फ बांग्लादेश में एक्टिव है।
सिर्फ बांग्लादेश में? हाँ,
बांग्लादेश में। और हाँ,
इंडिया में नहीं था?
नहीं, मेरा जानकारी में इंडिया में नहीं था, लेकिन उसका एक्टिविटीज़ बांग्लादेश में था और उसका टारगेट अराकान भी था, म्यांमार की एक स्टेट।
अच्छा,
ये उसका असली टारगेट था।
क्या क्या काम करता था वो लोग?
हरकतुल जिहाद इस्लामी उसका असली काम यह था कि वो लोग बच्चों को, लोगों को जिहाद के लिए बोलते थे, जिहाद के बारे में बताते थे, और जो लोग इंटरेस्ट होते थे उन लोगों को वो लोग ट्रेनिंग करवाते थे, फिजिकली ट्रेनिंग करवाते थे, किसी मदरसे में, किसी ग्राउंड में, किसी स्कूल के ग्राउंड में, ऐसा। ये उसका असली काम था। लेकिन बाद में मुफ्ती अब्दुल्ला हन्नान जो है, ये हरकतुल जिहाद का बहुत बड़ा लीडर था, लेकिन वो बाद में अलग हो गया, डिवाइडेशन हो गया हरकतुल जिहाद में। फिर मुफ्ती अब्दुल हन्नान ये सब ब्लास्ट वगैरह ये सब करता था। लेकिन हरकतुल जिहाद अल इस्लामी असली जो बांग्लादेश में था, उनका ये सब कोई काम नहीं था और वो लोग इनका खिलाफ था।